Ladies and gentlemen, live from the top of the food chain, Brooklyn, New York, a new day has arrived in cable TV. Strap yourselves in for a fun ride. It's the Cyclone Variety Show. Now here's your host, Cyclone!
Oh my goodness! Wow! People who actually like me! Wow. By the way, I just had a little accident. I think I want to sue Brick. My button fell off. This expensive piece of... This one fell off too! Boy. Anyway, so as you guys can see, I only have one buttoned on my suit. And it's not because I'm fat. This is the style, yo. Because I am a fashion plate. As a matter of fact, you know, hey, fat white guys can be fashion plates. But I kind of one day want to wear leather pants. But the only thing that scares me about that is the fact that somebody might just tip me over and try to milk me. Justin Bieber is still celebrating his 21st birthday in the Caribbean. And, yeah, boo Justin Bieber. You, Justin. But, see, he is such a lucky kid because here he is, 21, celebrating on an island he basically owns by himself. Next month, I turn 44. I'm celebrating... Okay, I look 80, folks, but I'm turning 44. The fact of the matter is, I'm selling in the only place that'll take me. Chuck E. Cheese. Cleveland Cavaliers E-Man Shumpert, former New York Knick, believes that the cast from Empire is based on him. The now deceased Sam Simon, I know you're looking down saying, yeah, bro, Cyclone, I totally based comic book guy on you. So Cromartie and Revis are back on the New York Jets. You know, and that makes Jets fans now singing Coming Home. They're welcoming them back. Hey, Jets fans, how did singing Welcome Home work out for you guys when you sang it for Carmelo Anthony? No playoffs for you. Speaking of the Jets, wide receiver Eric Decker and his beautiful, sexy wife, Jessie J, have just announced that they are having their second child. I guess Eric Decker actually did score last year. And it's the middle of March. Spring training is well underway. And Alex Rodriguez just hit his first home run of the spring. And there is no truth to the rumor that there is now an inquiry of was it steroid induced? Speaking of inducing things, Mark Teixeira, that great first baseman of the Yankees, said that he is now going to be gluten-free. And oh wait, I think someone's coming in with a delivery. Thank you. Hey, Mark, you know what? This is a gluten pie, Mark. And it's all mine. None for you. You suck. See, Mark? I love my gluten. As a matter of fact, speaking of eating, New York Mets pitchers Bartolo Colon and Noah Syndergaard were found to be eating during a ball game in spring training, and I'm eating during a show. I'm eating during a live show. I think I'm now qualified to be a Mets pitcher. And June 7th, speaking of the Mets, the legends of wrestling are coming to Citi Field. Yep. That's going to be the most hits in that stadium all year on that night. There's a lot of porn news, and I don't mean like porn stores. I mean porn. I mean porn. The great legendary female porn star Brie Olson has announced she is retiring. She is no longer in the porn industry. I know it broke my heart. I cried like a baby. The fact of the matter is her new job, I kid you guys not, she's going into stand-up. So on behalf of stand-ups around the world, after this show, I'm going to have to take these clothes off because I'm now going into porn. Now, she's not in porn, but she has the voice of an angel. She could be, though. She'd make a lot of money. I know it's not the best intro you've ever gotten, but you know, I'm just flying by on this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, she has the voice of an angel. Mickey Hummel.
I was hoping you'd ask me to play. I was hoping you'd look at me that way. You got that hat I like. It fits you just right. Now you wonder why I don't stay. 'Cause I wanna bend in your douche, yeah. I want something I can reuse. You are strictly for one-time use. Why you being so damn nice? Where's your girl? Is she out for the night? Yeah, she is actually. Maybe she's had too much gin. You were hoping I'd fill in. Well, that sounds tempting, but I gotta go. 'Cause I wanna bend in your douche, yeah. I want something I can reuse. You are strictly for one-time use. I'm not gonna lie, you're good at the game you play. I'm bothered you were cute and shy and a possible decent guy. But the more I look you in the eye, the more I begin to realize that I wanna mend in your douche. Oh, yeah, yeah. I wanna bend in your douche, yeah. I wanna bend, oh, oh, in your douche. Why don't you walk on over to Dwayne Reed? Stand next to the product label Summer's Eve. 'Cause you're a douche.
And no, I'm not the douche. So, you guys have all heard of Cisco and Ebert, right? Yeah. They're dead, so they're not here. But the wrestling version of Cisco and Ebert are, ladies and gentlemen, Joey Schettino, Daniel Ethan, the Wrestling Snobs.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for coming by.
Oh, wait a minute, actually. Danny, you ready?
Yep.
Welcome to Wrestling Snobs. Today
You're not on the shot, Joey.
It's okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Wrestling Styles. We are reviewing the Cyclone's monologue today. What you think, Danny?
So the topper was a little, and you know, comedy's subjective.
Thanks. Okay. So here's the thing. You guys lifelong wrestling fans, obviously.
Yes.
Now, if you could be any booker and book any match anywhere in the history of wrestling, what would it be?
Wow.
We're not
So-
prepared for that one.
If we could book any match,
Any
ooh, wow.
indie, pro, mixture.
Oh. I would say just right off the bat, just guessing off the top of my head, I would say Kurt Angle versus Nigel.
Oh,
I mean, Angle's one of the best. Nigel's our personal favorite.
Right.
If there's a snob's favorite wrestler, it's Nigel.
See, now I would have to say, me personally, I would have to go a rematch match. I know it's a little curve I'm throwing. I didn't give you guys the opportunity to do a rematch.
Okay.
But Big John Studd versus my cousin. Wrestled for Vince McMahon's father he wrestled under the name Jerry Allen, whose real name was Jerry Arnottsky. First time he fought him at Madison Square Garden, he jumps off the top rope. John catches him, doing the choke slam, picks him up, choke slams him outside the ring. I start bawling like a baby because I'm just a little kid at the time. They bring me back after. We're hanging out, laughing, we're goofing around. I'm playing hopscotch with Hercules' baby son. So right then and there, it taught me that it's not all that it seems to be. That said, why is there such an indie boom? Because there is. I mean, look, Vince is the powerhouse, and it is what it is. But there is a massive amount of indies.
the mainstream is boring. The mainstream is boring, and it doesn't cater to people who are interested in something else. And that's really it.
We're lucky enough to live in New York City where we have so much to choose from the indies. We choose between, before me and Danny were more casual indie wrestling fans. We go to the occasional indie show. We'd follow Ring of Honor. That was our indies. But now, thanks to, I won't say getting into the business, but becoming, I would say, journalists on our own level, we choose from House of Glory, Fighting Spirit Wrestling, Warriors of Wrestling, all these local promotions, and just being involved in Facebook and social media. There's an indie show we can go to any weekend.
Right.
We literally pick what show we want to go to a weekend.
But the indie boom is national. It's happening on a national level. Even very small states like Rhode Island have beyond wrestling, right? There is, people are...
Even in Vegas is wrestling.
Yeah. People want an alternative to what they see on television, which is no longer a product that speaks to them.
Do you think it's because Vince has gone to such a far level that, I mean, anyone that takes it after him can't follow?
No, I don't think the boom has to do with really Vince much. I think it's just wrestling it's just a further extension of wrestling. There's what you see on TV, which is WWE. Then there's Impact, and then there's so many other wrestlers that want to wrestle. There's schools it's a business at the end of the day. Schools open up a school for wrestlers to train at, put on shows, people come to them. At the end of the day, it is a business. As long as schools can make money.
But it's also such a homogenized product. It looks the same every week. It feels the same every week. It feels unimportant. We're not made to care about anything. We're given the same couple of things, right? And it's not focusing on something that people could relate to, or at least me now growing out of my teens and becoming...
And that's something you specifically talk about. I'm not going to mention the name Joe Attell, but Joe Attell. And to a level of, why do you think it's harder for some guys to just get made, made over?
Good wrestling is not being technically sound or being a high flyer or something. Good wrestling is making one care. It's like anything else. It's like your favorite books, your favorite movies. They may not be good, but they're your favorite because they made you care. They gave you that feeling that you got. And that's really what good wrestling is. It's super important to give that feeling to make someone connect.
See, and at least for me, like, we were all there the day, Joe went through the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And you know what? Everybody said that they begged him not to do it, and he said, "No, I just want to." And right there, I was like, you know what? I got to give the guy some props. I mean,
I give him props for going through it, but then at the next show, he didn't get a louder pop. No one cared that much more for
That
it.
match, he didn't get a louder pop.
Exactly.
That's
know,
really
it
it.
doesn't
No
do
one cared
anything.
at the beginning of the match, and no one cared after that. Also, it wasn't the finish, so it meant nothing. It literally meant nothing.
That spot should have been the finish of the match.
now you bring up pops. I think in Brooklyn, the loudest pop I've heard is for Mike Verna. At least from the shows I've been at.
I'm going to give you the loudest pop I've heard from Verna. It was when Joe Attell kicked out of the Sky High at the Lions Den last year.
Right.
That was, Joe Attell kicked out of it, and to that point, no one ever kicked out of the Lions Den. And that's when me and Danny actually, that was our first Snobs review, the Lions Den last year at FSW. And I actually liked Joe Attell when I first saw him. I was like, wow, this is cool. Half the place is chanting for Verna, half the place for Joe Attell. I mean, me and Danny did our first ever Snobs review, and we said we liked Joe Attell. It was organic. And we never heard the place so loud and eccentric besides Legends Never Die.
Right.
Were you there for that?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was just Verna mania.
That was
That was insane.
There was 500 people there for Mike Verna.
Yeah.
And as someone who can't get two people to come see me do stand-up in a club, Mike getting 500, and I don't want to, spend all this on Mike, especially since he's going to be here next month. How far do you think he can go? Is it because
Well-
look, he's had the call from Vince,
2.
so I mean, he's there. Can he make that next leap?
First, I'm going to say that every time we see him, he really does get better and better.
Right.
He's
Because I'll tell
obviously
you what, and I'm going to tell him when he's sitting here next month. The first couple times I saw him in Staten Island, he was as stiff as a board.
I actually disagree with that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been stiff. Also, I'm very biased. I'm his real life friend. And that's how I started going to all these shows. I brought Danny there. That's how the Snob started. But I really feel like Mike gets better and better, 1, every time, and 2, he always tries new things every time.
Right.
As far as your question is, will he get signed? It's a matter of luck, There's 2 ways to get signed. Either he explodes on the indies, and there's a massive demand to see him, or luck of the draw. Vince goes, I like his look. We're going to sign him and train him our way.
I also think it's really hard now because, you have a lot of guys who are now smaller and you don't need the build anymore. Who knows what they're looking for. And then they get rid of guys who are tall. They get rid of guys who do have an interesting look that's different. So you don't know what they're looking for.
Now, going on what you just said, okay, with them basically downsizing their guys, do you see that there might be an even bigger boom to the guys like a Benoit, like a Malenko?
I think we're slowly, I have to tell you this all the time, we are in the work rate era. There's never been a better era of wrestling with work rate is so good.
Yeah, I think so.
So many workers are so good at work rate.
But on the other hand, a good show has variety. I often call wrestling a variety show. And you don't want to see four-star matches in a row because that burns you out. Right. We went to a show like that recently.
Oh my God.
And you want to see variety. Even if you're like, this is not my kind of thing, at least it breaks up the monotony of guys killing each other for nothing.
But to answer your question, rephrase that one more time. I'm sorry. Are we seeing the next Benoit's and Malenkos? We are, I feel like, because if you look at the NXT roster, it's really a glorified indie between the guys they signed, Generico, Steen, Devitt, Pac. And we are seeing that Vince and I think Hunter do see that the real money is in getting the real indie workers that love the business and not the bodybuilders like a Batista or
I
like a
completely
Great Khali.
disagree with you because look at who's in the main event right now. If we were to look at mainstream wrestling. So they sign all these guys just to have them. It's like a collection.
That's true.
They're not giving them the spot.
Out of curiosity, you're known for something.
Yes.
Now, where in the world did the ice cream...
Do me a favor, you're not eating this, by the way. Oh, shit.
Oops.
That sucks.
Where in the world did that come from?
Well, I like I like wrestling. I like ice cream. I like lamb. I also like tuna fish with my lamb. So they kind of all go together. You know what I'm saying?
But didn't you get really badly sick?
Yes, I missed that show because I had ice cream burn. No, I'm sorry, I had brain freeze. 'Cause I
Fourth degree
ate
brain
some-
freeze, I believe.
Yes, I missed a 5 Pro Wrestling show. Unbelievable. I missed Juicy Product versus Milk Chocolate.
Now,
Danny was there to fill me in, though.
now wait a second. If I'm smart enough to catch on to stop drinking Red Bull, shouldn't you have been smart enough to stop eating the ice cream?
I like ice cream. It tastes good. I like wrestling. I will continue. Next question.
You know what? That's why I told the doctors about Red Bull. Now, on production values, everyone has their ups, everyone has their downs.
Right, like your show has double our budget, but we do our show for free.
And your show is a lot better than mine. And you have a better crew because you have no crew. Don't you guys in the control room flip me the bird, because that's not nice. You guys are supposed to be Christians, man.
Well, my mother tends to, once in a while, interject, I notice, on the show, and I have to redo it. You know,
Actually-
we are typical indie fans in the basement.
Actually, our favorite snobs are when we're getting heckled by Joey's mother.
Yeah.
It's actually really great.
I notice when I don't do the chores, and there's still, like,
Right,
laundry left to be done or clothes to be hung up, she gets really annoyed, and it's
We'll
harder
be
to
like
film the
really
snobs.
serious. Let's be like,
Take
Joey, did you do
4.
the laundry?
Juju, do the laundry.
Now, you guys recently expanded, and as I've told you guys privately, you guys started out okay, and you guys have seriously gotten a lot better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you've expanded to now doing interviews with guys.
Yes.
Has anybody ever turned you down?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you?
Oh. Can we tell? Can
yes,
we? Can we?
yes, shoot, go.
Okay.
go.
The American Wolves, known to us now as the American Endangered Species, are the team of Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. Now,
they did
I'm going
not.
to tell a story.
No, they did
I'm
not.
going to tell a story, Mr. Cyclone. We were at a 5 Pro Wrestling show.
No, we were at FSW.
No. I'm going to start. 5 Pro Wrestling.
FSW.
No, not.
Oh,
I'm starting
okay,
from the beginning.
Sorry.
And I see Mr. Eddie Edwards, who I really, really like. I really like Eddie Edwards. So do you. I say, hey, Eddie, I'm a big fan. I was at your matches for Davey 1, Davey 2, when he won the belt with Roddy. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. I'm a Red Sox fan. Cool. Hey, can I have a T-shirt? Sure. Hey, Eddie, we have a YouTube show. Can we bother you for 3 minutes? Maybe not tonight, but definitely next time. Okay. Eddie Edwards is booked with Davey Richards for a weekend of FSW night 1, night 2,
FBW.
and FBW night
Right.
1. We see Eddie. We didn't go to the FBW show, correct?
Right, we didn't.
We could not go to that show, but we see Eddie the next night. I'm wearing the same T-shirt I had just purchased from Mr. Edwards the show before FBW, American Wolves. And Davey is more interested in his mobile device than he is me. I'm talking to Davey. I buy an 8x10 just to do business. Hey, I'm a big fan. I was at all these Ring of Honor shows, first row. That's great. He didn't give a crap about what I had to say. And he was still a pretty cool dude. We're talking. So now it comes to, they agree for the interview. And Davey says, we do the interview, in the back where the bathroom is. It's a one-person bathroom at the Ludus. And while there's wrestling going on, live action, we get a whole 30 seconds, and we get this great shot of Davey with this really stupid grin on his face, and we spammed it to Davey.
That's on our Facebook.
Yes, on our Facebook page, Wrestling Snobs. And then the interview concludes. We can't do the interview because there's so much noise, and Davey is on his phone during the interview. So Davey is not wearing a jacket. He's like, I'm not going outside. I'm not going outside. It's cold. I don't have a jacket.
Well, a lot of our interviews are done outside because
Yes.
we need silence.
But, so 5 minutes later, Davey goes to get his stuff ready to leave. He has a humongous fur coat. I will never, ever buy another Davey Richards 8x10, an American Wolves shirt. If he makes another $1 in this business, that's fine. It won't be out of my pocket.
But I
Don't defend him.
kind of defend
Don't-
him
don't.
often. Here's a world-class wrestler.
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
great.
can you come out in the cold for a couple of minutes? But also, I want to focus on the positive. Like, we've had world-class wrestlers on our show.
Right.
AJ Styles,
huge wrestlers
Chris
on our show.
Hero, the Young Bucks,
Who had
Juicy
no
Product.
reason to do
Yeah.
our show and were super nice to us. So I prefer to look at the positive side than the negative side.
I was just curious. And speaking of Juicy Product, something recently happened to someone's girlfriend.
Okay.
And look, I happen to be a fan of Kimberly,
Great wrestler.
and she's a Seahawks fan, so, 2 thumbs up for me. Is there a level of going too far? Seriously, because What happened was she got power bombed
we know.
really over the, and it was done in front of him too. Which I don't know. I think if it was like a Vince script, it might have been something like sending him a message. But
Okay, so on one hand, I really don't condone violence toward women at all. Like even in scripted wrestling, it really bothers me. On the other hand, she was totally aware of the spot, and if they were using it to build to something else, like Dickinson versus JT Dunn later on, like if they were using it to build, then I understand why it happened. But you know, it is hard to watch. But on the other hand, it like because I know a little bit more than the average fan, I know that it was safe, and I guess it blew up because people who don't understand the business and don't understand storylines, and now we're in a age of media where we get these little clips and we don't know the story before it or behind it. Right. We just see these little clips, so you know I can understand why people were upset by it.
Let me play devil's advocate for you for 1 second. You weren't saying a word when Rhino pile drove the Sandman's wife, Francine, off the apron through a table.
We weren't doing wrestling stops in 1999.
But I feel like there's no, listen, they're two grown men and women. They're making a living. They're trying to entertain the crowd. Everything was consented to. The chair shot, the power bomb. What drove me nuts was the no disrespect to Kimberly, the apology, because she had to. Right. That killed the angle. There's nothing wrong with, it's entertainment. Suspend your disbelief. It's wrestling.
Right. It's also, it's catering to a niche fan, so the niche fan understands this even more.
Yeah.
And because it got a lot of attention, they had to kind of take that away from the niche fan.
What do you think, though?
On one hand, as a fan of hers and a fan of her as a person, I hated to see her bounce like a basketball.
Yes.
But also, and especially since my cousin did this, I know that this, you know, you do what you got to do. Same thing like Attell, same thing like when Werner like does swanton bombs off the top.
Yes.
Right.
Well, those are safer. He's diving onto people. You can't compare.
But the risk is still there.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and someone like, you know, like Logan Black. Logan Black versus Dirtbag Dan matches.
Oh, man.
Okay, they are
the death match at Ludus?
Absolute gory blood matches, and Dan's bouncing up with a big smile on his face. So, I mean, I could understand it both sides. Let's play word association.
Okay.
Okay? We'll give you a guy. Tell me the God's honest truth.
With one word?
Yeah, one word.
One word, okay.
Papadon.
Excellent.
Excellent. Underused talent.
Yeah.
We'll just do it quick. Well, no one word.
Tony Nese.
Oh. Great.
It's okay. I'm picking these out for a reason.
Great heel wrestler. Bad face wrestler. Great talent. Stop doing the super kick into the cartwheel spot.
That was a lot of words. Can't connect.
Yes.
Really?
Can't connect, no.
Can't connect.
Not as a face.
Joey Ace.
Good. I like his look. Not bad at all.
I saw him once. He's good.
Twice. You don't remember.
I told him last month because I saw something that shocked me, and I've never seen another wrestler do this. He wears his wedding ring in the ring.
He loves his wife, Erica D.
And
Facebook,
here's the thing. That ring falls off his finger and rolls into the crowd. He's not getting it back.
He'll get it back.
Or B, it could slice his finger off. That he'll get back.
That one he definitely would. Also, fan really is not a nice person. It really doesn't like him. If this was a bad match, I might not give it back to him, actually. No, Joey, this match was horrible. You're not getting your finger back.
I'll finish it with someone outside. Mike McNicholas.
Good fan.
The best wrestling fan possibly ever in the history of wrestling fans.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, between the two of you, who's the biggest diva? I mean, in every team, there's a diva.
Actually, like the success of this has been because we're really very low key, both of us. We'll film something, we'll be like, that sucked. We'll be like, no, it didn't. No, really, that sucked. And we'll do it again. Like we we have never had an argument in the year we've done this, and we've never had an argument in the 6 or 7 years we've
And
been
it's
wrestling
hard.
fans.
We both, have other lives that we live, our personal and professional lives, and we still manage to find the time to do wrestling stops.
Yeah.
And like I said, you guys have gone legions.
Thank you.
And you guys
Thank
continue to impress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a bad comic yourself. Well, we'll review your monologue after, in full.
Oh boy.
We'll be sure to post on all our pages.
Well, you guys want to really laugh? Good. So do I. You know what, everyone? This guy gave me my very first, it is, my Long Island debut at the Evan Flow Bar and Grill in Bayshore. Ladies and gentlemen, Brendan Gold.
What's up, Brooklyn? Let's make some noise for Juju and Mick Foley. Come on. So, I come from Long Island. For those watching at home, we are in Brooklyn. Took me about an hour and a half to get here. I was stuck in traffic the entire way. So whenever I'm in traffic, I do two things. I smoke a joint, and I assume that everybody in the car in front of me is going to the exact same place. So naturally, I expected a bit of a bigger crowd. So I'm in a new relationship. I mean, it's not that new. It's been over a year, but my last relationship was bad. It was bad. She was she was bulimic, but I dated an anorexic before that, so I figured at least she eats. I think the biggest problem dating her is I'm Jewish and I'm really, really cheap, and she always wanted to go out for dinner, and to me that's just flushing money down the toilet. And then the biggest problem, I think, came when she told me she wants to have kids. I do not like kids. I should not have kids. I think to have kids, you should have to take and pass an IQ test as well as a sanity test. I would not have passed this test. She was bulimic. She would not have passed this test either. So, because I hate kids, it makes it very rough because I'm also an uncle. I have two 7-year-old nephews. And I hate them. I hate them. I'm sorry. I hate them. One of them tried to add me as a friend on Facebook, and I had to write him a very polite letter that said, "Dear nephew," because I don't know which one's which. Which is really screwed up because they're not even identical. So I wrote, "Dear nephew, I don't want to be your uncle in real life. I definitely don't want to be your friend on Facebook." And then, so my sister, she's also Jewish, so she's also cheap, and she would like me to watch her kids for her because she doesn't want to pay a babysitter. So I told her, look, there's websites that you can find a babysitter. Same thing, she didn't want to pay, and I don't want to do it, so I offered to find one for her, and I did. I went to the local sex offender registry. I found someone who would do it for almost nothing. Almost nothing. Most importantly, I didn't have to pay a penny, neither did she. I don't know which one took it for the team because, again, I can't tell them apart. But it was one of them. So, this may shock you, but I had to go to rehab. I had a drinking problem. I still have a drinking problem, except now it's nobody else's problem, just mine. So now, going to AA was very weird. Being in AA was kind of like being a heavy chick at the gym. I would go, but you still have to get a Big Mac and a Diet Coke on the way home. You know what I'm saying? So because I was in rehab, I also had to go to therapy. Now, therapy is a big, big problem for me because I'm afraid to close my eyes. I'm always afraid I'm going to get raped. I just feel like someone's going to sneak in through the window, and it scares me to death. Scares me to death. So I'm sitting with the therapist, and she tells me to close my eyes. I refuse. And then she says, fine, just think back. What would you say to yourself if you could meet yourself when you were 16? So I thought about it for a minute. I kept thinking, and I said, got any weed? And can I bang your girlfriend? And then she wanted to address how much I hate children. She said, go further back. Go all the way back to when you were 5 or 6 years old. So I thought, and I thought, and I figured this was the best answer. Do you want to try some weed? And can I do your girlfriend? Thank you, everybody. I'm Brandon Gold. Let's give it back to Cyclone.
Step over. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
You got a nice deep voice now, all of a sudden. What are you coming here dressed up, trying to upstage me? Don't you know you don't upstage the host?
Well, Cyclone, I figured somebody has to be a professional here.
All of a sudden now he's funny. So, let me ask you, how hard do you find it to write?
I find it very hard to write, but I don't find it hard to come up with material. I think when I sit there and really try and bang it out, I get nothing. I focus on too much what's funny, and I end up with what you just heard up there. Right. I think when I just sit there and things flow to me and I kind of make a little note on it, it works better for me. Weed helps too.
I'm not condoning weed use, ladies and gentlemen.
I am.
I'm condoning gluten abuse.
They go well together.
That's true. So the ebb and flow.
Yeah, even flow.
Even, Evan, tomato. It's a beautiful venue.
Thank you.
How'd you come across getting that?
So I know Danny Wiseman, the owner of the club, and Danny Wiseman from Even Flow Bar and Grill in Bayshore, shameless plug. He, great guy, great promoter. You know, just like yourself, he understands the arts. He respects the arts. You go there and you do a show. If he makes money, he'll pay you. He just treats acts, musicians, comics. He treats them with a respect. And he was having a hard time moving food, which was strange because he has some of the best wings I've ever tasted. Right. Also runs LI Wing Fest. Shameless plug. He's paying me for this. So because
I'm not.
Well, so being that he was such a great guy and he was having a hard time moving food, I figured let's do a comedy show. People sit, people eat, and drink on a night that's slow for him. So we do them on Thursday nights once a month. We have great acts on there. We've had you on there.
The greatest. You hear that, Brick? I'm the greatest, Brick.
So I mean that's how Even Flow came about. I love doing it. Instead, I stopped hosting it every month. I now let the other comics host. Let them get extra time because I'm only in it to give back to Danny and give back to other comics.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a I can't use the word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't want to get beeped.
Who cares? Nobody's watching. Yeah. So, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You guys ready to rock some more? Woo! Everyone, once again, Mickey Hummel.
So, what I would love to do is make up a song. So if anyone has a topic they want to be in a song, we'll make one up together. Ready, set, go. Your shoes. My shoes. My shoes are sparkly. Okay, my shoes. Netanyahu. What? I love him. What? Anyone else?
Frogs.
Frogs? Okay. We got frogs, my shoes, Netanyahu.
Wrestling.
Cyclone. And wrestling? Obviously. And porn. What? This is the most beautiful song in the world. Oh, I met him at a wrestling match. It was so good when he threw me on that table and it broke down perfectly. I see now, oh, how this story goes. It's a good one, I'm told. It could be in the movie screen. It's like a poem watching is like a porn that you're watching. Oh, a wrestling porn. Starring me and you is like a porn that you're watching, like a porn that you're watching with me and you. Oh, don't you know it's true? Oh, yeah. But I was like, hey, I'm a classy lady. I wear sparkly shoes. You're not gonna throw me on a table knitting Yahoo. And he was like, sure, you're so much more. This is not what we said before. This is not a porn that we're in. No, this is not a porn that we're in. This is love is for real. Come on, baby, you're the real deal. This is not a porn that we're in. Maybe just in you and me, and we'll begin. It's gonna be so sweet. And that's the truth. That's the truth. You're gonna sweep me off my feet like a cyclone. Don't you see? Beautiful song.
Wow. That was great. First of all, I want to ask you straight up, musically, who influences you?
I love Eric Hutchinson. He's my favorite.
Wow, that's a. You know what? I've heard 10,000 names mentioned. That one's never come up.
He's the best.
Real original. You're doing this one day, one song. Now look, I'm all about challenges. What? You guys can tell that physically. What put that idea in your head
To do the song today?
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to challenge my songwriting side of my brain and write more songs and not think about it as much. Like I was saying before, it's like when you think about it, it doesn't come out as what you would really want.
I think that's a hint for me that I need to start not paying attention to stuff. So you have your first album coming out.
Yeah.
So how hard was that to come up with?
Pretty challenging. It's been trying to be released for about like 2 years. And then, so it's done, and then I put 2 more tracks on it. So it took a long process because I'm not really a musician. I don't really know what I'm playing. So
Please, meanwhile, I'd be going like this, like the way I type.
So my producer is awesome, and he pretty much helped tell all the musicians what I'm thinking in my brain, and he's Dave Klaus, and he's the best, and he made it come out really good.
Well, I thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. We can do this for a couple more minutes. So, that being said, I want to now bring on our headliner. She is someone who I will be performing with finally in the ghetto, otherwise known as Brockton, Massachusetts. Hopefully, I don't get killed because of the way I am. I'm going to have to hide behind her skirt. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Arnold. Thank you.
Hey out there, Brooklyn. What's going on? Hope you guys are having a good afternoon. Welcome to the Cyclone Show. My name is Brooke Arnold. I was actually recently cast on a reality TV show about female stand-up comics. And in case you've never been cast on a reality show, it's like going on a Bizarro World job interview. So anything that you say on a regular job interview, you say the opposite if you want to get on a reality show. So, for example, when they asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said prison. When they asked me how do you deal with conflict? I said, I'd smash a glass in her face. And when they asked me what my greatest weakness was, I said, I have no soul. And that's how you get cast on a reality TV show, ladies and gentlemen. Someone actually recently told me that they thought I looked a lot like Christina Aguilera if she were still fat. But I think they're wrong, because I think that I look like John Benet Ramsey. If she were still alive. Every year I get a bit older, things get a bit lower. And I think, you did it right, John Benet. Die young. Die beautiful. Don't die a virgin. So I'm not originally from New York. I'm actually originally from Texas. Can I get a yeehaw? All right, yeah. Texas, it has a really bad reputation, right? Because it's the land of George W. Bush, Jessica Simpson, and lethal injections. But it's actually a really great place to live if you're white. Trash. So I did really well there. I've been in New York for a few years, and it's a big adjustment here. It's very different. People in New York, for example, they believe in hippy-dippy liberal stuff like public schools, women's right to vote, racial integration. Another big difference is here you can't really see the sky that well, and there's a lot of Jewish people in New York. There's actually only one Jew in the entire state of Texas. And his name is Jesus Christ. Or as I like to call him, my grandmother's imaginary friend. So I grew up in a really religious environment. My parents were very strict Christians, which of course means I disappoint them every time I wear pants. Means I'm probably the only person, at least in the studio, who's had an exorcism performed on them. When I told my parents I wanted to go to college, but it was great. It turned out to be really good preparation for college because it involved a bunch of strange men holding me down on the ground. Yeah, that means I went to a liberal arts college, folks. That's what I'm trying to say. No one remembers losing their virginity who went there. It's just a big blank slate. So I do a lot of comedy shows in New York, and I was at one the other night, and I saw this other female comic. I ran up to her, I gave her a big hug, and I said, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you." She said, "Why? We've met one time, and it was over a month ago." And here's the thing, she's right. But that one time we met, she gave me a business card with her picture on it, and I've been using it to cut cocaine ever since. So all my best memories of the past month involve her face. Like we've gone to breakfast together, we've stayed up all night talking, we were hanging out backstage before the show. She's probably the best friend I've ever had. All right, you guys are awesome. My name is Brooke Arnold. Thanks so much.
Slide on over.
Make sure I'm doing this right.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Yes, we talk into that. Well, I mean, you can do other things with that, but you know, I got in trouble earlier today for saying that looked like something. So, I mean, I wouldn't know I'm Jewish.
I think it looks like wishful thinking.
Especially, I'm a Jew. I wouldn't know, you know.
This looks like.
So, let me ask you, and
Okay.
in all honesty,
Okay.
have you even seen anything close to sexism in stand-up?
Oh my God, yes.
Well,
How did
I
you
don't-
just? What is the first thing that you said to me when I sat down?
hey, baby.
Yeah. And then compared the
well,
microphone to a penis.
Well, see, here's the thing, because I don't get that.
what do you don't get sexism?
No.
You just don't.
No, when I'm
meaning
doing
you
stand-up.
don't understand it. or
No. when I'm doing, as a matter of fact, I don't get stage time, so I wouldn't know about that either. But that's a whole other issue. But okay, only female comics would see that side of it.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas a guy, unless we're talking about like the duplex in the village,
Right.
wouldn't get something like that.
Right. I mean, I think sexism is a problem in stand-up because it's a problem across our country, right? It's a social, structural problem, and I think it's kind of highlighted in stand-up for a couple of reasons. First off, when you're standing on stage and asserting your voice and your opinions and your ideas, that's a position of power, and a lot of people feel uncomfortable seeing a woman in a specific like position of power that you take when you do stand up. So I think that in some ways, just having the guts to get on stage and perform is an accomplishment for a lot of women. But having to deal with this constant backlash too makes it even harder. You have to be really tough just to kind of go out for it.
That's deep. I can't even top that. But,
Sorry.
okay. No. It's a great answer. Do you prefer staying local, or do you prefer going out on the road?
That's a great question. I've mostly performed in New York. I've mostly performed in New York. I'm starting to branch out now. So, for example, I'm doing more on the road shows. I'm performing in Washington D.C. for like a whole week in April. I'm organizing actually an all-female comedy show, a comedy tour, and yeah. And we're gonna bypass the sexism, and we're just gonna go straight to the college campuses where girls are gonna be excited to see us perform.
Let me put it to you like this. As ugly as I am as a guy,
Yeah.
I'm prettier as a chick.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. Maybe I could go. I don't know.
Oh, you want to be in drag and go?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Right. Yeah.
I'll be the fat RuPaul.
You would be a gigantic woman though. Like you would be unusually large. Just
I'm
tall.
unusually large for a human.
Yeah.
Or for a brontosaurus, for that matter.
But I really feel like, stand-up is also, like, it's marketed towards men, right, in most cases. And so that's something I want to do is maybe, like, see if we can women want to see comedy about their lives just as much as everybody wants to see comedy about their lives. So I think that creating a show or a tour that's, like, specifically geared towards people who haven't heard stand-up about themselves is a really cool opportunity to just take comedy to a whole new market.
What's the best thing you've seen about stand-up?
The best thing? It's like a religious experience. Like when I'm on stage and people are laughing, like it's like the closest thing that I've ever experienced to being in touch with like the world or God or some kind of higher power. Like it just feels spiritual. It feels amazing, and that idea of like having a voice and saying things and being heard and being seen and having people connect to that and laugh at that and like understand your perspective is just, it's really beautiful.
I only do because I can't sing and dance.
I can't either.
Oh, well. Well, you know what? It's almost that time that they're going to kick me out of the studio. I know, right? And the way this day's gone, they might not want me back either. But I'll tell you what, I want to give a massive amount of thanks to my hardworking crew.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that showed up. I want to give thanks to you guys, the studio audience that showed up. You guys get golden stars.
Yeah.
To my guests, my goodness, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, all of you. Without you guys, I'm just a fat guy in front of a camera. So until next month, America, I'm Cyclone saying, wait a second, I know what I'm going to say. I am going to say, Mark Teixeira, this gluten's for you, and America, stay humble.
Clouds, they're building up and around an enemy. And this storm is brewing till there's nothing left but lightning. And you, the truest vision of a star in this night, bringing to light the parts of me I never believed knew how to fight. Well, mine's the only light on this city block. I'm tired, broken, drunk, but I refuse to stop singing. Whoa, 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 singing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't need a star to shine, 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 'cause we're landing on the moon tonight. Oh, broke is spending everything that I own just to make it grow. And my voice is shaking, tired, but it's prone to speaking up. And my heart is beating with everything I got, but it's not enough. 'Cause mine's the only light on this city block.